Hey y'all, how y'all doing? So today is Sunday, January the 24th, and I have a very interesting topic to talk to you about today. Oh, sorry, I'm out of breath. I got up early this morning, went and got groceries, and I had to run to my job to pick up my AirPods that I left there on Friday. Um, because I like to, I try to get my 10,000 steps a day, and there's times when I'm cleaning. I actually live in an apartment. I say house a lot, but I live in an apartment, and I try to be respectful of my neighbors. That's why also it's 10 o'clock on Sunday morning right now. That's where I'm actually filming this video. I don't want to be too loud. As soon as this video is over, I'm getting ready to do laundry. But one thing, I'm so tired of listening to the same 50, 60, 70 songs on my iPhone. So what I've recently started doing is I figured out that my laptop has Bluetooth. So I'll put my AirPods in my ear, and I've been going to YouTube and listening to old Reverend Ike sermons, or some of the people that I follow, astrology vlogs that I follow, and also old episodes of Coast to Coast AM with George Bell. Art Bell and George Newry. I know last weekend I listened to that episode with Harlot the Witch. Do y'all remember that? That was a very interesting interview. I don't know if it was true or not. And it's been probably, 15, 20 years since she made her one appearance on the show. And I kind of find myself wondering if she was real, where is she now? She said she lived in Salt Lake City, and I've been recently, I don't know about y'all, but I do love some of my Bravo, and I'm really into the new Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I keep thinking about how, you know, these women are living in the same town where Harlot the Witch actually supposedly lived, and if they're, and Mary Crosby has her own church. Is Harlot the Witch in that church? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Anyway, like I said, when I'm done with this video, I'm gonna do laundry and probably pop my AirPods back in and keep listening to a show while I clean up a little bit more. But anyway, back to our topic. I am going to talk to you today about the Alpha Ritual and the White Room, and I'm also going to be discussing your magical diary. I wanted to show y'all something else too real quick. This is my little steno pad. I keep it near me. I take it with me to my bed. I keep it near me where I sit in the living room. I keep it near me when I crawl up in my big comfy chair to read or meditate or whatever. And this is where I put, I'm not going to show it to you, ideas for my blog, ideas for this YouTube channel, things I might hear or come to me really quick. I'll jot it down to follow up on later. I will show you this because I use this for a lot of things. This is where I was doing a new recipe. For those of you who don't know, I'm on keto, and I recently made bacon wrapped shrimp, and this is how I was sitting down calculating my macros to figure out the carbs, fat, and protein, and exactly how much of it I can eat without going over my daily carbs. So anyway, a lot of the topics I talk about really come from you guys. I post these videos to YouTube, and then from there I post them on 4 of my pages on Facebook. There's my personal page, Two-Headed Astrology, the Hoodoo Almanac, and Secrets of a Sissy Boy, which is the title of my book, which is available on Amazon.com. And then I also share them in a private group, Creole Moon. I can't remember the name of it, but it's run by my friend Denise Alvarado. So if you're on Facebook, look up that group. Also, really quick, another thing I wanted to tell you is the other day I made some changes to my channel. When you go to my page, and I hope I'm going to explain this right, I've added Linktree to all of my social media pages, meaning Instagram, here on YouTube, where else? YouTube, Instagram, other places. But if you go on my page where there's that big square, it used to be some kudzu and it said Carolina Conjure at the top. I forget what that image is called. And it's like on my landing page. And if you look in the corner, well, you're opposite. So if you look in the corner right here on that page, there's a little green thing that's supposed to be a tree, and then it says Carolina Dean or Carolina Country, I can't remember. If you click on that, that will take you to my link tree, and there's links to all of my pages. There's a link to my Instagram page. There's a link to this YouTube channel, which if you're here, you know where it is. And there is a link to my Two-Headed Astrology blog. And then there's a link to my Two-Headed Astrology website. When I when I got rid of my Hoodoo blog and I wanted to do nothing but a purely astrology blog, well, a blend of astrology and Hoodoo, I started out as I Can Astrology, because that's just what I couldn't think of. And then while I'm doing it, I had the insight to change it to Two-Headed Astrology. And so I wanted to keep that brand. So I branded my blog. I created my own logo that you see there. And I bought the domain for Two-Headed Astrology in case down the road I wanted to do something with that website. And the last 6 months or so, I finally added a lot of content to that website. And it's, if you don't want to click on the link tree, it's twoheadedastrology.com. And on there, I just have a lot of material if you're trying to learn astrology, all about the planets, the signs, the houses, to get you started on learning, on collecting your keywords and how to interpret planets and signs and houses. There's a lot of Hoodoo content that I want to go back and add. There's just really a lot of content there. I'm going to be adding more as well as time permits. But a lot of the stuff that I'm waiting to put on the website is already on the blog. So there's like the astrology of love, the astrology of road opener, the astrology of luck, things of like that I want to put on the website. It's already in the blog. I just have to copy it and format it and put it in there and maybe make some changes, because sometimes when you're talking about astrology, you get logged in a certain time. So like when I wrote about the astrology of luck, I know it was around St. Patrick's Day, and it would have been probably 2019 or 2020. So I want to maybe edit that a little bit to freshen it up so it's not sort of locked in a certain time. What else? So anyway, let's get to our topic. I'm going to talk to you today about the Alpha Ritual and the White Room. And so what you guys don't know about me, and I alluded to this before, is I have been studying magic and witchcraft in some form since I was probably 16, 17, and I'm going to be 48 in September. So that's what, 30-something years. I've studied Wicca, witchcraft, Hoodoo, ceremonial magic, grimoires, all kinds of stuff. And I'm very lucky in that when I was a practicing root worker, before I retired, I was able to invest. I have a very good job during the day. I have very little debt in my life. I own my car. My rent is fairly cheap, and for this nice apartment, I don't have any, other than paying for groceries, my cell phone, and utilities, I don't have any major bills. So I'm very, very lucky and fortunate in that I have a good income. I have some residual income from some of my, my books and things. And I also was able to save and invest the income I got from my root work practice. It just went straight into a specific account. And so I am very lucky in that I am in a position financially where I can collect rare grimoires and manuscripts and things of that nature. And probably 2, 3, 4 years ago, I came across a rare grimoire from the 70s, and I started studying it. And I'm not going to tell you the name of it. I don't feel like I have to, and I don't really want to. But I will say that this grimoire was the person who wrote the grimoire has since passed away, and someone in his family republished it. And they took it from, I think, 300 pages down to maybe 100. And what they did was they cut a lot of extraneous material, like if you ever read any of the old Gavin and Yvonne Frost books, they would like give you a spell, but there'd be like a long story. It's sort of like when you go online and you look for a recipe, and there's a really great recipe, but you got to read through 9 pages of, how I came up with this recipe, and I was milking a cow on my father's farm. So she just cut out all that information that you didn't need. I took that book And I had been studying the original manuscript. I did purchase the reprint. The original is hardcover that I got. The reprint is paperback. And I started writing and highlighting. I'm not usually a person who marks up books a lot, not a lot. But because this was a brand new reprint, I went through that book because I had been keeping notes in a little journal, and I took and I wrote all that. So I put the old grimoire up in a safe place for safekeeping. The new one, it's all written in on my margin, all the improvements I've made on rituals and things of that nature. And it's sort of like a working book that I still study. There's still aspects to it that I work. And so there are rituals in there that I've adapted to my personal practice and which I am going to share with you today. So, the Alpha Ritual. This is just a very simple but powerful basic ritual that you can perform to get what you want. So basically, all you do is you sit or lie comfortably. If you are new to this, I suggest you sit comfortably. If you lie down, you may fall asleep. You sit or lie comfortably, and then you basically say out loud to yourself. You say, I am now performing the Alpha Ritual for the purpose of whatever. Let's say attracting $500, whatever it is. I call upon God in me to give me support and assistance in this matter. Boom, simple, right? So now what you do, you just begin some deep breathing exercises. In through your nose, hold it for a second, out through your mouth. And you slowly relax your body, beginning at your feet and working your way up to your head. Slowly relax your body. So when your entire body is relaxed and your mind is relaxed, you have reached what Lori Kybet called the alpha state. Alpha is a state of being where your mind and body are completely relaxed. And this is based on the categorization of brain waves. You have alpha waves, beta waves, delta. I believe delta is when you're sleeping or REM sleep. Y'all can go study that if you want to. But basically, alpha means your mind and body is relaxed. So your mind and body are relaxed. So now what you do is you open your eyes if you want to open them, and then you this is where you verbally set your intention. If you're a Wiccan, you can say a little incantation. If you are a folk magician, hoodoo, you can do an affirmative prayer. You can do a Bible passage. Psalm 23 is an all-encompassing one. You can do an extemporaneous prayer if that's what you want. Being a writer, I am not very talented at extemporaneous prayers. I always like to write mine down and have something, I got like a basic outline that I can kind of go off of. And one thing I do is when I do this ritual, I have my copy of Power of the Psalms by Anna Riva, and I even have little cards from past spells I've done. And I usually find a psalm that resonates with what I want to do. And I can't find a page here, but my copy of this again is annotated, meaning I have all kinds of little notes and things on different pages of how I use this book and what this psalm is good for, other than what Anna said. So I sit this on my lap when I'm doing my relaxation, and when I'm ready, I have the page marked. I open it up and I slowly and deliberately read the psalm. If you follow, I should have grabbed it, but I didn't think to do it. If you work with the 6th, 7th, and 8th book of Moses and look at the Psalms, and some of them, it tells you to vibrate a name. There's a name associated with each Psalm. Once you read your Psalm, you can sit there and vibrate that name. Like one of the names of God is Adonai. So you might go, you're thinking about what you stated, what you want. You read your Psalm, and you might just focus on what it is and say, Adonai, over and over and over until you feel like it's enough. So, you know what? I forgot a step. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's rewind. I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm sorry. So once your mind and body are completely relaxed, you open your eyes and you say, my personal power now flows within, throughout, and about me. My will be done. Then is when you read your psalm or whatever it is. I'm not going back refilming this, and I don't know how to edit it, so y'all write it down. Uh, I may post this ritual in my astrology blog, even though it doesn't have anything to do with astrology, so that you guys can read this. So that's what I'll do. I'll do that today. Sometime today, I'll post this ritual in my astrology blog with a link to this video. And if you, like I said, go click on that link to my blog later today, and you'll see the script, and you'll have an outline of how to do this. Anyway, finally, after you read your psalm or your Bible passage or make your prayer, you just close your eyes again. And a lot of people say visualize what you want as if it's already happened, and I have learned that not everybody thinks the same way. They don't have the same thought patterns. Some people think in words, some people think in pictures. As a writer, I sometimes think in words. I have words, I feel like they don't come from me, they come through me, they're inspired, and I have to write them down, and then I share them with you guys. But mainly I think in pictures, and that's why I think I'm really good at tarot, because pictures is a language all of its own. But anyway, I don't tell people to visualize, I tell people to imagine, because everybody has an imagination. I want you to imagine your goal as if it's already happened. Let's imagine that, going back to money, you want $500. Imagine that you're holding a piece of paper in your hand, and it's a check made out to you, and it says $500. And if you have a problem imagining that, what I want you to do is go online, go to Google blank check, print it out, cut it out. You can go in Word, make your own little check, make it out from the universe, and make it out for $500 and make it payable to you. And you can hold that and look at it in your hand and imagine how you would feel if it were real. And I want you to take that if out. I want you to imagine how you feel because it is real. And what will happen is you will manifest that. And you can take that piece of paper, you can put it under a candle while you're doing this, but this ritual doesn't require candles, herbs, roots. But once you get the hang of it, you can add more things for ambiance if you want. You can take that check and press it in your Bible anywhere it says, and this shall come to pass. You can put it in your magical diary, which I'm going to talk to you about here in a few minutes. Anyway, once you're done spending 5 minutes or so visualizing, imagining what you want. Oh, again, if you're a person who thinks in words, I want you to tell yourself a little story. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful, good-looking boy named Carolina Dean, and the universe presented him with a check for $500, and he lived happily ever after. And, I'm being kind of trite here, but, write your story not the way it is, but the way you wish it would be. Tell yourself that story and believe it, and it'll manifest. And once you're done, you simply open your eyes and you say, my will be done. And that's it. You're done. So that's the basic ritual. Once you get comfortable with this ritual, it would probably take you anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. And what I suggest is you do this ritual. Once you decide on a goal, you do this ritual every day until it manifests, or you decide to sort of go off in another direction. And I'm going to tell you that as you're doing this ritual, when you're meditating on your goal, you will get messages from the universe. You will get messages from your guides. And I'm going to tell you how to access them easier and in a few minutes. And you will get psychic impressions and insights, because going into this meditation every day, a side effect of this is increasing your own psychic abilities. And so what you want to do is, when you choose a goal, first of all, this is my magical diary. This is just a blank book that I painted. I just happen to have pink. I wanted to decorate it, and I put this image on it because that's from the Temperance card, and it represents spirit embodied in flesh, or magic and the mundane sort of connected. And then I have these rubber bands on here for two reasons. First of all, I tend to tuck things in the book, and when I painted and worked on this book, I ripped off that elastic band that would come down right here because I just didn't like it, and I wanted my book to be kind of unique, so I ripped that off. And so I tend to stick pieces of paper and pictures in this book before I glue them or tape them in, and that rubber band just ensures that as I'm handling the book, nothing falls out. The second reason I have these rubber bands on here, these are the rubber bands that you get out of the produce section when you buy a bell pepper or something. I have taken, I'm not going to show them to you, but I've taken and drawn protective runes on the inside of this, on the other side of this rubber band, and put them around here so that these rubber bands don't only protect in a mundane sense of keeping things from slipping out, it protects in the sense of spirituality. And so I'm going to show y'all one entry in my book. And when I did this, for some reason I called it Book of Shadows instead of Magical Diary, but that doesn't matter. I'll show y'all guys one entry. Now this is actually a newer book that I started back in. The first entry is July 3rd, 2020, because my old one got filled up. And you guys may remember I posted a ritual called the Stupefying Go Away Forever spell. I think that's what I called it. That was the first ritual I wrote in, not ritual, recorded in here. So what I did was I wrote the date at the, here, let me just make sure there's nothing on here I don't want y'all to see. Okay. That's it really quick. I'm sure y'all can pause this and see it. So up here, there's the date, and then I wrote issue or condition. What I wrote was, I am being harassed by my upstairs neighbor over a parking space. He's being passive-aggressive, moving his car into the space when I leave and looking in my window. Because I have a security camera in my window there, and I usually try to get this space, and I could see if anybody messes around my car. Course of action. Tonight I started using blank, the alpha ritual, with a general purpose sort of thing to make him back off and leave me alone. Ideally, he should move out. So then I wrote timeline of events, and I have 5 events on here. July 4th, it was the full moon in Capricorn, and during the ritual, I saw flashes of light behind my right eye. That indicates the presence of spirits, your spirit guides trying to come through. On July 5th, the second night, the flashes of lights was in both eyes. July 6th, it says, he's eased off. He's leaving the space open and avoiding walking past my window. I kept wondering, how come I don't see him in my camera? And I was sitting in here one day, and I noticed that instead of walking past my window, he started going on the other side of the cars where the motion sensor wouldn't pick him up. July 11th, I've gotten the spot all week, and he's leaving me alone. I'm shifting my focus to a new objective. So I stopped on July 11th. I started on July 4th. I stopped on July 11th. July 23rd, he moved out. Gone. See? That's one example. Here's an example of, I'm going to talk to you this in a minute, where, what can I cover up? Where I met my spirit guide. This is sort of how my spirit guide appeared to me as a column of light. I drew a picture in here. I'll tell you about that in a minute when we discuss the white room. I'm looking at different things here. Some things I just cannot show you guys. Things I'm working on. There are a couple of general notes in here. Here's a thing where I wrote about placket. Oh, shoot. Where I wrote about plackets. The thing is, you don't write the actual spells in the book. You have your receipt book for that. For example, I might write, perform the stupefying go away spell, but I don't write the entire spell, because this is a diary. You're writing results. You're not writing what you typically did. Here's another one I want to show you, okay? I'm not going to flash. There's things in here I don't want you to see, but I'm going to read this to you. This is an objective that I started on January 12th, and like I said, today's the 24th. So, it says January 12th, new moon in Capricorn. So again, I'm working with the moon here. Issue or condition. I want to be wealthy. I want to create a life of abundance, prosperity, comfort, and luxury for myself. Course of action. I will dedicate time, space, and energy every day towards creating a reality for myself in which I am wealthy. Timeline of events. Now again, I started this on January 12th. Timeline of events, the first time something happened, January 19th. Today, I unexpectedly received I wrote residual, but I meant royalty check for blank amount in the mail from my book, Secrets of a Sissy Boy. And I was able to deposit that check with my cell phone, and I'm not going to show you the check, but like, here's the actual check that I put in my book. And so again, that's something I'm doing every day to create more wealth and prosperity for myself. That's all I'm going to show you in the book right now. We may come back to that. So again, in the beginning, you want to work on one goal at a time. And then once you become more proficient, you can work on several goals. I would suggest, everyone knows their limits. You don't want to deplete yourself. Like me, for me personally, I probably would not work on more than 3 or 4 goals at a time. And the way I divide that up is I may work during certain moon phases and on certain days. So let's say if I'm trying to draw a lover, I might work only during the waxing moon. That's when the moon's going from new to full. And I may work only on Fridays. Or if I'm just looking for sexual love, I may work on Tuesdays. If I want both, I might work on Tuesdays and Fridays. And then let's say I have an enemy, someone's harassing me. Depending on the severity, if it's really bad, I would do that every day. If it's intermediate or not that bad, like an annoyance, I might do it every Saturday, or every Saturday during the waning moon. That's when the moon's going from full to new. Or I might work on protecting myself while the moon is growing, and then banishing or getting rid of my enemy when the moon is shrinking, so that I'm doing something, I'm working it from both ends, right? Okay, so you get an idea of how this is going to work, right? The last thing I want to talk to you about is the white room. And the white room is, I guess you could say, it is your own space in your own mind. It could be the astral. I think of it, if any of you have ever watched Star Trek, I think of the white room as sort of being like the holodeck off of Star Trek. You know, where they go in that room and they can run these programs where it's like 3-dimensional reality, and they can make copies of people and make them do things, and they can what's the word I'm looking for? They can meet and interact with historical figures, which are all computer generated, and it feels real. It's 3-dimensional and it's tactile. They can touch it. That's how I think of the white room. And so, one of the exercises that you should do, early exercises you should do, is to meet your spirit guide or your higher power, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, in the white room. And the way you do that is you perform the alpha ritual up to the point where you open your eyes and you say, "My personal power now flows within, throughout, and about me. My will be done." And then you close your eyes, and this is the point where you would have read, your psalm or your major incantation or your affirmative prayer. Instead of doing that, you want to close your eyes and visualize yourself in front of a door. You're standing there in front of a door, and with your imagination, I want you to reach out and take the doorknob and open that door and walk into the white room. And in my mind, the white room is a completely white room. 4 walls and floors and ceiling are all white, and there's a white bench in the center of the room. And then on that bench is sitting my higher self, God in me, my spirit guide, whatever you want to call it. And if you do the ritual properly, don't go into the white room with any expectations. Your subconscious will choose the form of your higher self. It may be your twin. It may look like an ancestor. It may look like a complete stranger. It can take the form of an animal, like if your totem animal is the turtle or the raccoon, it may appear as that. Just don't go into the white room with any expectations. You can sit on that bench with your higher self, and if you want, you can change the white room to be whatever you want. You can sit in front of a fire. You can be on a ski lift going up the mountain. You can be sitting in a coffee shop and the rain's pouring outside. You can shape the white room into whatever you want, or it can just be a plain white room. Sit down and then you can speak with your spirit guide and get direction and answers. You can ask your spirit guide, your higher self, anything you want, anything that you would ask your tarot cards, anything that you would ask the bones, any question that you would pose to your divination tool. You can ask your spirit guide, and your spirit guide can help you healing. Your spirit guide can lay its hands on your imaginary body. I say imaginary, but you know what I mean. And it would affect your real body. Your spirit guide can teach you spells. Your spirit guide can teach you how to best use your abilities. Your spirit guide can give you guidance and warnings and protections. You know, this is your spirit guide is your mentor, your teacher. I know some people may not be comfortable with the word daemon, meaning a tutelary spirit, and for those of you who don't know what tutelary means, basically a teacher spirit. Anyway, go into that room. You can speak to your spirit guide like I showed you in my book. I do sometimes go into and speak to my spirit guide. He or she, it really doesn't have a sex, appears as that big column of white light. I don't need to show it to you again. And talking is more telepathic than it is I speak verbally in the white room, but it's more telepathic when he communicates to me. Sometimes I keep saying he, but it's genderless. He will show me things in that white light, like there's a column of light, and he'll show me a symbol or a face or something. And I've had him reveal sigils to me that I use in my work. For example, you know, I would write a sigil on a piece of paper and I'd put it on my altar with a candle in front of it, and I would, you know, work magic toward a certain goal. Your spirit guide will give you spells and rituals that you can write in your receipt book, your book of shadows, whatever. But again, I think I did a video on the book of how to maintain your book of shadows. I always write any information on just some scrap of paper and keep it and use it and shotgun it before I put it in my actual book of shadows, my receipt book. I'm not going to put anything in my receipt book that hasn't been tested. I don't want to write a really cool spell and then perform it and it doesn't work for me. I only want things in my book that's going to work for me. And so anyway, when you're done speaking with your spirit guide, then you simply get up, walk out of the room, close the door behind you, and open your eyes. And then you want to record your experience in your magical diary. Anyway, I see I've run on for about 32 minutes here. I hope you all like this ritual. I'd like to hear from you about your experiences performing the Alpha ritual and your experiences in the White Room. So hit that like button and leave a comment, and I look forward to hearing from you. I got laundry to do now. Have a good day.